Hey everyone, John Michael Swift here, and welcome back to my thumb picking guitar series. So I'm going to go into a little mini series here about what I call 4-stroke thumb picking. Now, if you've seen any of my other stuff, you've seen me do a lot of patterns sort of like this. And what these are called 2-stroke thumb patterns, where the thumb basically just goes back and forth and back and forth and back and forth between 2 strings. 4-stroke is, well, obviously there's 4 strokes. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4-stroke thumb patterns. Pretty self-explanatory. But there's there's a major stylistic difference that goes with this. These types of songs tend to be a lot more country focused in their feel and in their genre. So we're going to talk about the basic techniques that go with it, the sounds that you use to get a little more specific with these styles, and then I'm going to give you a bunch of songs to kind of get you started with the basic patterns around all of this stuff. So if you're digging any of this stuff and you want to see me create more in-depth lessons on this stuff, really consider subscribing to me on Patreon. Consider maybe being one of my collaborative students to kind of help me develop these things further, because I'm going to kind of throw you the stuff that's easy and it's going to really get you going with these first bunch of lessons. But to get into the more advanced stuff takes me a lot more time and a lot more devotion, and it helps people to kind of bounce the ideas off of. So yeah, consider joining that campaign and supporting me making more advanced and interesting guitar lessons if you get through these ones and you want more. But yeah, all that being said, there's also a lesson navigator kind of down below in the description box of this video to help you find the different parts of the video. You can jump around by punching the timestamps. That's true of all my videos. There'll be links to extra tabs or any other supplementary materials, all the other parts of the series. So definitely use all that stuff. And yeah, okay, let's get into it. All right. So the most important thing to think about when you're doing these patterns is what bass strings you're playing, because it can get a little confusing at first, but you'll start to realize there's a small number of patterns you have to learn that are going to comprise most of the things you're going to do. So the first thing I'm going to do is teach you the 2 most important thumb patterns that you're going to use in 4-stroke thumb picking. And then we're going to go into some ways to work them over chords. So let's say we're playing a C chord, right? A lot of these are done over caged chords. Your starting note, your root, is going to be on the A string or your 5th string. You're talking about, lowest string here, thinnest one, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. It's the A string, it's 5th string. So you start there. The pattern that starts on the 5th string usually goes like this. If your root is on the 5th string, you go 5th string, 4th string, 6th string, 4th string. So the string numbers are 5, 4, 6, 4. And again, to accommodate kind of the bass line with a C chord, your ring finger is going to kind of catch these 2 different bass notes to kind of keep the bass line moving. So you go 5, 4, and then you go to 6, you move your ring finger, and you go to 4 again. So let's try playing that together. 1, 2, 3, and 5, 4, 6, 4, 5, 4, 6, 4, 5, 4, 6, 4, 5, 4, 6, 4. I'd recommend repeating that until it feels solid. And once you got that, we're going to go on to the next common pattern. So you almost always have a bass note that starts these chords on either the 5th string or the 6th string. And if it's on the 6th string, you do a similar kind of pattern where the pattern is 6, 4, 5, 4. So let's say you're playing a G chord, and really only 2 notes that matter here are the 3rd fret of the 6th string and the 2nd fret of the 5th string. So your thumb is going to go 6, 4, 5, 4. So try that with me. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 4, 5, 4, 6, 4, 5, 4, 6, 4, 5, 4, 6, 4, 5, 4. So that's 90% of the thumb patterns you're going to get in any 4-stroke thumb picking song, and there's a lot of them. Sometimes you will get a chord that starts with its root on the 4th string. That does happen every now and then, and occasionally some other ones, but they start to get pretty uncommon after this. So just in case, if you get a chord that starts on the 4th string, kind of like if you did a D major chord and you did this pattern, you do the same pattern basically you did on the 5th string. You basically do 4, 3, 5, 3, 4, 5, 3. Let's try that with me. When you make a D chord, let's give that a try. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 3, 5, 3. 4, 3, 5, 3. 4, 3, 5, 3. 4, 3, 5, 3. Excellent. So Now, once you've basically got those down, a really good thing to do next is work in the fingers. Because the fingers, they tend to go into a pretty common pattern that syncopates in between the thumb strokes, and that really fills it out. So basically what happens is right after every thumb stroke, there's a finger stroke. So you can start out by kind of parking your pointer finger and your middle finger on your G string and your B string, or your third and second string. If you're into more of the Merle Travis style, you can just use the pointer finger and move it around. I tend to park these fingers here. It's just the way I tend to do it. So as you're going back to the C chord, what you're going to do is between every one of those strokes, you're going to kind of go back and forth with these two fingers, just like that, starting pointer, middle, but you're going to stick them in between every thumb stroke. So if you do your first thumb stroke on the fifth string, you do one of your fingers. Next thumb stroke, the other finger. Then the next thumb stroke, the other finger. And the next thumb stroke, the other finger. It takes a little practice to get used to, but basically you kind of want to get your pattern going with your thumb again, and maybe slow it down a little more so you can get used to mixing these all up. And then you're going to basically go thumb, pointer, thumb, middle, thumb, pointer, thumb, middle. So let's try that together 4 times. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Thumb, pointer, thumb, middle. That might take you a little bit of getting used to, but trust me, it's worth messing around with because this pattern, everywhere. You're going to see it all the time. So why don't we try working that basic pattern over all the basic cage chords? Why don't we start with the 5 major cage chords, C, A, G, E, and D, because this gets played over all those quite a bit. So we did C there. Let's try just to keep going through each of these over each chord. So, of course, you're always looking for the root of the chord, and the root with the G chord is down here on the 6th string, so we're going to start there. These fingers don't move, but the thumb, where the thumb plays, moves. So let's start with the G chord. Ready? 1. Get your thumb pattern back first. You do 6, 4, 5, 4, and add the fingers here. Ready? And 6, 4, 6, 4, 5, 4. Thumb, pointer, thumb, middle, thumb, pointer, thumb, middle, thumb, pointer, thumb, middle, thumb, pointer, thumb, middle. You can slow that down and repeat it as many times as you need to. Let's see here. What's the next chord? A is next. We're going totally out of order, but you'll survive. So with A, you do the same pattern you did for C, and you don't have to move a finger. So let's try it. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And 2 and 3 and 4. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So there's your A chord. We have to do E and D yet. Now with E, your root's on the thick E string, so you're kind of doing the 6 string bass pattern. You're going 6, 4, 5, 4. All right, here we go. 1, 2, and 3, and go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And 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 then if you've got that, the last one we're going to do is we're going to do D. Again, your thumb is going to start on your 4th string, so you're going to go 4, 3, 5, 3. Ready? Slow it down a bit. 1 and 2, 3 and 4, and 1 and 2. Ooh. You know what I just realized on this? I have to move my fingers over. I have to move my pointer and my middle finger up to my B and my E string. There we go. So that's where it is. So these move over. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And so that one might feel a little less familiar, but it will happen. Even in one of the songs I'm going to teach in the next couple of lessons, it's going to be in there. So that should be enough to get you started with 4-stroke Travis patterns. You can either go on to some of the songs that we're going to do, or I'm also going to do another lesson on some of the sound techniques that we use in this style. Some of them are just using extra bass lines. Throwing in extra bass lines, that happens quite a bit in this style. The other thing that happens a lot is palm muting. Learning how to find that position where you can thumb, you can kind of mute things with your palm while you do it. That happens a lot. The other thing that Merle Travis did especially, a guy who's quite famous for this, is, I guess what people call it boom chick a lot, where you kind of, on that extra stroke, you kind of whack a bunch of strings. And the trick there is kind of like those second strokes. You really kind of whack them pretty hard. So we'll explore a little bit of all of those in another lesson. So follow it where you will, but yeah, I hope it brings you good places. And yeah, hope to talk to you soon. Bye-bye.